back to another episode of New Growth. Today we're going to be discussing the topic on parents.
And your expectations of them, because this has been a hot topic on social media, I feel like for a few years now. Nevertheless, I've seen a bunch of people talking about healing and growing from what they expected their parents to do and how they expected their parents to be as it relates to other individuals' parents and the parents they actually got. And so I found this very interesting Pinterest post, or what are they called on Pinterest?
I don't know. I don't be on Pinterest.
Oh yeah, I love Pinterest. And it said, grieve the parent you wanted and didn't get. Recognize your life is full of opportunity and you need no one's permission. Let go of getting approval from people who don't approve of themselves. Forgive yourself every day. And I found that interesting. And so before I move forward, what do you think about that?
I think this is a loaded topic. And, everybody has life experiences that shape their point of view on how they view their parents. So I think there is some truth in what that post said. Some of the things that you said in the very beginning of it, I try my best to abide by when it comes to, my relationship with my parents. I am blessed with a mother and a father, but I also have a stepmother and a stepfather as well, who I'm very, 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 very close to. You might as well say my stepfather raised me. So when it comes to navigating them, it is a tedious task, but at the same time, leading into adulthood, it gets a little easier once you become an adult yourself. I think in that post that you sent, it talked about, in the very beginning, grieving the parents you wanted. Okay. So like, I know for me, when I was growing up as a kid, I wouldn't say unrealistic expectations, but you know how you dream of different things in relationships, like with a lover, someone intimate. I had that same expectation with parents. And when they didn't fit that mold, I was a little like misjudging them or prejudging. And as a kid. And so now that I'm an adult and, I've gone to therapy and had many conversations with my therapist, I can offer grace to my parents and understand that they were doing the best they can with what they know.
Absolutely. And that's what people don't understand. I'm not saying like if you're abused by your parent, neglected, or, other things, egregious acts committed upon you by your parents, that you should automatically forgive them because they were learning, because some things are hard to get past. And so let me say this disclaimer: if you're struggling with that, I can understand it, right? Because we do expect our parents to protect us by any means necessary because we didn't ask to be here. However, there's another side where you do at some point grow and learn, and then you develop a self-awareness and understanding of those around you, and knowing that parents aren't perfect, right? They're human too, and they parent based on their own childhood experiences. And so, yeah, they could have been better, right? But then they were doing the best for you, I would like to say. Again, this does not apply to everyone else, because you're going to have some people out there like, my mom was on drugs and she wasn't doing her best. I understand. Right. I hear you, and I highly recommend seeking therapy to move forward past that. But it's important to know that they were doing the best with the knowledge that they had at the time. And, it's easier, or it would benefit you to forgive them and knowing that they're human too. If they're trying to do better now. Now, you do have some parents where the child reaches out, because I'm always going to be a child to my mom. So yes, as the child, if I reach out to my mom and I'm telling her these things affected me and she feels like she doesn't want to take accountability or hear me out, then that's a problem. So it would be hard for a person to heal from that if the parent doesn't even want to hear what the child experienced under their care. And so a lot of times parents, they just don't want to take accountability. They don't want to admit their wrongdoings, and they're rather pretend it never happened than admit what did. So
yeah. And that's another thing, like when I was speaking with my therapist about certain topics, she was very, very adamant on me understanding, just because I set that expectation and that goal and I want them to take that accountability, what happens when they don't? Okay, how do you move forward? And so my thing is, I don't ever want to go a lifetime and my parents leave earth before me, and I'm living with a lot of regret. I
Mm-hmm.
know that I know how to protect myself, and that's a big thing with it. You protect yourself and you protect your peace, but at the same time, I don't want to have regret with any relationship with any of my parents.
Absolutely.
So that being the sake, you have to go ahead and train your mind into whatever you think you're going to get, whether it's an apology or some type of admit. How are you going to move forward when that doesn't happen? Is that the end all be all? Because I used to like that young, early 20s, teens to my 20s, I was thinking, well, they never took ownership and blah, blah, blah. Just because you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. So how do you move forward? Do you say, I'm no longer going to converse with my parents, or that's just dead and gone? Or do you look at yourself and realize that, it's not the accountability that you necessarily need. It's them taking accountability isn't going to change the direction. It can help, but not having it does not have to be the end all be all, the detrimental factor of the relationship continuing to blossom. Another thing she was very good at pointing out is even if when they don't admit it, there's certain things in behavior that I was blessed to see to know that they are sorry, even if they can't form the words or take the full accountability. They are, and that goes back into being human, and we can go on a deep dive, and this can be as general as we want it to be, but can't really categorize trauma with parents. You can't really put in a category. So it's so general. It's a general topic, but it's very specific to the people who are involved. So navigating it can be very difficult. I encourage anyone who's dealing with that type of commitment, seek a therapist to help you out, a family therapist. My parents have never sat in a therapy session with me, and they're probably not interested. I would love for them to, but I can sit here on this chat today because I did the work as far as going and it opened up my perspective on how to navigate. I don't want to say handle, how to navigate our relationships. Give them a little bit more grace.
Yeah.
At 31, you couldn't have told me 3 to 4 years ago that I would be sitting here saying I was a very hard person when it came to that.
Absolutely. And again, I like how you pointed out it's subjective, right? And so this is not going to apply to everyone. Some people can't forgive their parents, and that's their prerogative, right? We can't tell them to move forward for something that happened to them and no one took accountability for it, because some people as adults felt like it's like I was a child, so you were supposed to be there for me. It just goes into the expectations. And so I'm not saying forgive them if you can't, but what I'm saying is go seek therapy so you can learn to move forward and develop a bigger you move forward for yourself. And maybe in therapy you will seek that, you'll be able to forgive, in whatever way you can based on the knowledge and healing that you receive through therapy. I think it's like I think we're touching on a general topic. However, it's a lot deeper and it's person dependent.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah.
And now for the other side of things, like not even the other side, like we've mentioned plenty of times in this episode, we're not saying run out there and forgive them. Having boundaries is something that I learned through therapy. While you're trying to navigate, if that is your will to fix the relationship or work on the healing process of a relationship with parents, boundaries was the major factor that helped me get to the other end. Once I realized what my boundaries were and what I was not going to allow zero tolerance on, that is where it blossomed for me mentally. Like I wanted to be in a space where I wanted to be able to call a parent and just shoot the breeze like I do with my friends. I understand friends so much, and I was dealing with battling the fact that I don't really know my parents. So how can I just pick up the phone and call Tony and we have girl talk and talk about the son? I can't do that with the people who birthed me or created me. So being that was a goal of mine, I had to figure out, how do I achieve that goal? If I want to get there, I have to give a little. And so I set an idea of what my boundaries are going to be and actually stick to them. And it is hard. It's hard because some of those boundaries your parents aren't going to like. and they're
Right.
going to be doing the most, or but they also know who they raised. If your parent had a hand in your raising,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're bringing up, so they know who they raised, and it's not that they despise it; it just makes them uncomfortable. And
Right.
once everybody gets comfortable with the idea of the boundaries that you set, as long as they're healthy boundaries, then
Mm-hmm.
the progression could be there on to moving forward. At
Yeah.
least in my case,
Yeah.
it was, and I'm
Yeah.
happy with my relationship with my parents.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely, I was raised by teenage parents and then a whole tribe of people, granny, grandmas, aunties, and
Yeah,
I grew up with my parents. And so we do thankfully have that ability to chat like friends. And I probably talk to them a lot. I talk to them a lot. But I still, even though I have a great relationship with them, and I would like to say I always have, there were also some things I had to learn about them and think back on and say, oh, they were kids. They were literally kids. And I had this epiphany maybe 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I had Ethan at 22 and my mom was 17 when she had me. What? Like that was a child. I was still trying to figure out how I had Ethan so young at 22. And so I'm sure there's some things he may have expected of me and
yeah.
may to realize when he gets older that my mom was only 22. So I said that to say, yeah, you have to look back on things and realize like one, they're human, two, how where were they when they had you, the age? Think
Right.
about mental capacity and development of a 17-year-old, even a 22-year-old when they have a child. And so those things matter in raising the child. Their parents and how their parents raised them correlates to how they raised you. And so,
And then also, not even just the age factor, just the purpose of them having a life and trauma as well.
absolutely,
You're
yeah.
a parent, Tony. You're a
Yeah.
parent, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, everything doesn't have to be sunshine and rainbows, when it comes to parents. And there's going to be hard days. And I'm not a parent, but I watch you. I
Mm-hmm.
watch my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, in those days where it wasn't sunshine and rainbows, it takes a lot of effort,
Mm-hmm.
mentally and physically, to continue to do the best you can about a child that you are raising. And
Yes.
it may not be the best to someone else's standard who may be out here writing a book, but it
Mm-hmm.
was the best that they could do. And
Mm-hmm.
you got to reside. I feel like if you're trying to heal and you're in a similar situation, you have to reside in that space for me where, hey, Xavier,
It's Ash.
I mean,
Ash.
Ash.
Okay, I'm
You
doing
have to reside in that space where I lost my train of thought. I
fine.
forgot. I was going to say you have to reside in that space where you just recognize the whole thing about them being human too.
Absolutely. And you have to,
Own trauma.
absolutely, you have to push forward when they come and interrupt you while you're doing things.
I mean, I don't even know why you're trying to act like you. And
But
then there, one more thing that I wanted to end on this topic with was yourself, because also when you are trying to work on a relationship with your parents, and for me in my case, there was a lot of things that were brought out about me. Once I started understanding them a little more, I started realizing where I was lacking in this relationship too. When you're actually doing the work, it brings out your flaws and all. I was not a perfect poly child, so deserving of XYZ because I did this and that. There was some flaws in who I ended up becoming too that could have made them stay at a distance because I seen things from a different perspective that they did not agree with. So you're not only forgiving your parents, you're forgiving yourself too in the process of healing because you got to where you're once you realize like, dang, I didn't like I'm not gonna overshare, but there was a situation where I told Tony I was really holding one of my parents to the fire, like holding them to the fire. And I'm talking about there was nothing anyone can say to alt my mindset. It was what it was and what it was going to be for me. And then as I got older, we talking 28, 29, and with the help of therapy, I realized my behavior towards that moment led into many years of the pain or suffering that I was feeling in that relationship. We could have easily, if my mindset was in a different space, we could have easily gotten to where we are now a lot quicker. And so if I can say that as the child, imagine what they could have been doing as the parent at the time. If I can allow myself grace to forgive myself on my behavior, and I'm the child, then why aren't they deserving of grace? Because at the same time, they were young trying to figure it out too. You messed up, Asia, when you were heal that relationship and take that on the chin as well. So when they were doing what they were doing when they were raising you, they had to take some things on the chin as well too. So if you're gonna forgive them, forgive yourself as well. Because again, I realized quickly I was not a perfect father. And that's all I wanted to say on that. What about you?
No, it's really touchy, right? Because you said something earlier, was like, but they raised you, right? So of course you wasn't a perfect Polly, and you were hurt, and then responded in that hurt, you let off that behavior. And I'm not saying it was right, but for me as a therapist, it was valid. And so, because I'm always gonna empower a client. And so I know you went through therapy, and so I'm not gonna go back and talk about that. But if I have a client who was hurt by their parent and they tried all they could and something happened and they ended up upset about it, we're going to work through why they were upset. But the first thing I'm going to tell them is your feelings are valid, right? Because they are your parents, and you know they are supposed to act a certain way, be a certain way, but we know we don't live in a perfect world. And so it's a lot. And so I have this one other thing I found on Pinterest, and they want to forgive your parents for raising you through their own unresolved trauma, not being able to understand you because they did not have the capacity to, not being able to teach you certain skills as nobody taught them, being emotionally unavailable as their parents were emotionally unavailable, doing their best they could with what they knew and had, following cultural norms that they were surrounded with, and raising you through your own struggles, worries, pain, and fear. And so you may want to forgive your parents for all of those things because again, they're human too. So
yeah, that's good. All right. Well, that is it on parenting. You know that I brought the friendship deck.
yes.
So we're going to do 2 questions randomly from the deck, right? So I'll go first as far as pulling a card.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. This one is actually a command that you have to do off screen, so I kind of like this one. It says, send me a text right now that you want me to read to myself whenever I feel down.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I do that, but I'll definitely.
This one's going to be specific on this day and time. Right? I'll expect my text message after the show. I'm going to go ahead and give you my card. Your card. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. What is your honest opinion about my dating life relationship? Honest opinion.
What is my opinion on your marriage?
I guess I thought it would be my opinion on yours.
No, girl, you read the question to me as if you were here. That's for me to answer. Your job is to send me the text message. You got off easy.
Well, we can both answer this question.
Oh, okay, perfect. I like it.
Yeah.
Opinion about your marriage. I told you this when we came and visited last summer. I said that being that person we're talking, that you guys are like a modern day Huxtables, the TV show, the Cosby.
I was about to say.
No, not in real life. It gives its own twist, its own flavor, which is hip with the times. That's why I said modern day. Like y'all are out living y'all best young Black life, thriving in your careers, you know, having 3 children who are well kept, who I just love so much. And, you know, I just think that as far as your relationship and what I know, because I don't pry, you guys are sisters and brothers to me. So it's very hard for me to be like, oh, it's such this and that. It's what it is. It's natural. It's normal and it comes off real healthy. And I love to see it because we're young and we're Black.
And thanks for sharing. And Marcus hates when I do this because he's like, you don't have to, when people give you a compliment about our relationship, you just say, okay. But I want people to understand because they think these things happen overnight and they don't. You have to understand, Marcus and I grew up together too. We met at 16. And so I just want people to know that a healthy marriage, a good relationship, it doesn't happen overnight. Think about a 16-year-old having to learn how to communicate with another 16-year-old going to college with that, that person maneuvering through college and then having a baby. And so I'm saying all this to say we had to work and fight to get to where we were. I don't want people to think that those things happen overnight because people are blindly led into thinking that these beautiful relationships that they see online come with nothing, like no hard work, dedication, effective communication, or anything else. So, I wish that upon everybody that if you want a healthy relationship, know that you have to you got to do the work. It's no one comes. We all come from different backgrounds. Marcus was raised by two totally different people on a whole different side of town than I was, and so our thought process is so different. The way we view the world so different. Listen, he always pick on me because I believe that everyone had health insurance. Like everybody was on their parents' health insurance plan and they could just go to the doctor. It wasn't until we got in college, and I think it was both you and him talking about something. And I'm like, why y'all just won't go to the doctor? And y'all both looked at me. I'll never forget. And y'all were like, what?
And I remember that was the year that it became a mandate that everybody get health insurance.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And y'all both looked at me like, girl, you are delusional. And so, but yeah, it takes work. It takes dedication. And I'm glad that you can look at us and see that the hard work and dedication we put into our relationship and now marriage got us where we are now.
Girl, so yeah, I definitely seen the hard work.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so I know, but do you want me to answer the question?
Yeah, I guess.
You're not in a relationship right now, but I know that you're a hard lover. You love hard and you want the best for people. And sometimes it brings you people who don't want the same for you. It seems like some people seek out individuals who possess the qualities and characteristics that you have and just be cognizant of that next relationship, right? Because you're a good person, you're a hard worker, what you want. Make sure that person has that so that they won't bring any turmoil into your life because they don't know any of those things, right? They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to find love and then receive the love and have the nerve to throw it away. We don't need no more people like that.
Don't throw a palm tree at them, friend. Because if they know you're talking about them. But I can't wait till our next episode because that was actually one of the topics. People who are natural nurturers when it comes what things we have to avoid when dating. So
yeah,
glad you kind of brought that up. So stay tuned for the next episode. And if you've gotten this far in the video, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. So another thing that we said that we were going to bring to New Girl with you all is introducing story times. Because Tony and I have so many moments that we share that comes with hilarious stories. Yes. So let's go ahead and get into like one of our favorite stories that we want to talk about. And this one actually took place on FAMU's campus. Yes. It's my favorite because it was homecoming. I don't care. No, geez, I wish I did. I don't think I was in pharmacy school, so it was prior to 2015 for sure. It had to be around 2013 or 14 because I was on my way out. Okay, cool. So we went to the comedy show. They always had comedy shows on Tuesday during homecoming week. Great show, but if you ever been, the parking lot be on swole. People are parked behind the stadium. You can't get out. If you think you're about to leave a comedy show and head to the moon or Top Flight, it's a wrap. Your best bet was to come to the comedy show dressed for the move, because if not, you're not going to make it, because getting out of the traffic is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was driving a 2005 Chevy Cavalier, two-door. Y'all look it up. We called her Goldie because she was the color, goldfish color, almost the color of your top, but more, more.
Yeah.
And so I had her reverse park thing because I'm a bad one. You know, they say bad girls, they love the reverse park. That was me, and I did it with no backup camera. So we were reverse parking because I had already knew the traffic was going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And we get in the car, we just going to be able to pull out. That was not the case. So I can't remember, Tony.
And it was a very close park. Remember, it was like right there at the front. I don't even know how we ended up with the parking spot.
Just lucky.
It was literally like right there on the side before you walked into the was it the gym? It wasn't at the gym, but yeah.
Parking lot of the
yeah.
arena.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I just remember a line of cars, and there was this one particular car. It was a purple Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
It was a purple Jeep, and it had it was a girl driving it and her friend was one of the girls, and they would not let me out. I was driving, Tony was in the passenger, and this is me nosed out and them coming in. So as I kept trying to ease out, they kept easing up, like, we're not letting her. You know how people are. You're not gonna let her front. And then Tony, you take it here, because that part is just crazy to me.
So we're trying to get out. The girl is being mean, right? Because she could have let us out. And so Asia's just like inching up. This is the truck moving this way, the Jeep. Asia's here back then. So the girl is like not moving. And when the line would move, instead of just stopping, letting Asia drive out, she wouldn't. And so Asia was like, I'm about to get out of here. I'm about to get out of here. So like, this is Asia and the girl. Asia kisses the girl car.
And we kiss. Like, oh my
girl hopped out the car. You hit my car. Man, Asia. No, he didn't. No, she didn't. Nobody hit your car. This went on forever. I mean, the arguing, the best friend hops out. They like, I don't.
The guy jumped out. He was like, yes, you did. You hit her car right here. You hit her car right here.
He's like down there on the side of the car, pointing where the mark was. It wasn't a mark. I mean, did she kiss the car? Yeah, did she kiss the car? She did. Did we admit it at the time? No, because we were childish. And it wasn't that serious at the time.
No, you're forgetting the comedian who was on stage that night.
Yes.
This whole thing. I used to work for the police department on Fairview's campus.
Yes.
So the comedian who was on stage, it was a local comedian, he got out his car, walked up, he was like, let her out. You stopping all of this?
Yes.
Are you holding up everybody? I think he was trying to get to the moon.
Yeah.
And then she was like, no, we're gonna wait for the police. And the police came, and I worked for the police department. They looking at me, I'm looking at them. I said, I didn't hit her car. They was like, ma'am, can you please back up? So everybody get out, we keep a flow of traffic. And that's how it pretty much ended. So she thought she had me. Now, was I dead wrong?
And was I dead wrong for supporting her? Yes.
Tony was in the passenger. I looked at her and said, I ain't in her car. She was like, she did not hit your car.
Just move. We were trying to leave. Asia hit the girl car. And at this point, it is what it is. Nothing happened to her car. We were kids. And, you know, if you're out there, Asia hit your car.
I seen her in the Sprint store shortly after that. Though.
Yes.
So I looked at me. Hey, it's over now, bro.
Yeah, but so yes, that was story time.
Yes, my favorite story. The time you told me was my rider.
That was hilarious. I have plenty of stories. And I mean, I don't know. Did I want to go to FAMU? I don't even know how I ended up at FAMU. I know Asia was FAMU. She was going to FAMU. I don't know where I wanted to go. I knew I was going to college, but I'm definitely glad. We had a ball.
Yeah, we did.
The next story time, that night we take that car.
You gonna tell that? Okay. All right. Well, if you guys like story time, let us know in the comments. And go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe to this video if you have not done so. I can't wait for y'all to hear the next story and the next topic. Stay tuned. For now, peace out.